Hi, my name is Jennifer, and we're reading The Color of My Words by Lynn Joseph. We're on chapter 5. I hope you're following along. We're on My Brother's Friend. Are you ready? My brother's friend. I race across the kitchen, jump up on the counter, bruise my knees on the edge, scrape my arms, tear my dress, hold my heart that beats too loud, strain my eyes as I watch at my brother's best friend driving up. His baseball cap's pulled low, his eyes are hooded dark. His brown arm rests just for perfect on the door of his car. I race around the room, jump over chairs and dogs, hit my elbow, stub my toe, then slide onto the porch. There he is, my brother's best friend, leaning on his car. I smile at him, call his name, wave my hand, invite him in. But all he says without a glance is, "Hey kid, where's your brother?" If there was anything that distracted me from writing poems and stories every day, it was my brother's best friend, Angel Rodriguez. Angel had been a part of our family, sitting round our Sunday table for lunch ever since Guario started working at Rocco's Cafe with him 2 years before. One day, I looked at Angel across the table and saw more than Guario's best friend. Suddenly, I couldn't stop thinking about him. My mind, once a pool of words and ideas, was now filled with images of Angel. My dark eyes trailed him like a line of hot soot wherever he went. I knew I was in love with Angel because just thinking about him made me feel sick. It was the sickness of wanting something I could never have, like books, thick and lovely with words that I could never hold. Bookstore owners looked at me in my faded school uniform and closed their lips tight as they shook their heads. I might smudge the pages, they said, so I stood, hands behind my back so I wouldn't be tempted, staring at books I couldn't open. That's how it was with Angel. I stared at his smiling face, his smooth brown muscles, and kept my thoughts behind my back. Angel and Guario were best friends, but they were opposite stars in a galaxy. Whenever Angel came to our home, he laughed out loud and grabbed Mammy's hand and danced her around the room. "Hola, mi amor," he flirted. He slapped Pappy on the shoulder and took a swig of his rum straight from the bottle. He leaned close to Angela and whispered things in her ear that made her clap her hand over her mouth. "You are malo, Angel." My sister giggled behind her hand. As for me, Angel winked at me carelessly and brushed my hair off my face, sometimes leaning down to kiss my cheek. I trembled fiercely as if a hurricane gale was swooshing through my heart. "My little Estrella," Angel called me. The rest of the day we would all smile at each other more and say things we never would say during the rest of the week. Once I heard Mommy tell Poppy, "That boy has the perfect name. He sure brings heaven with him." Some weeks I could just not wait for Sunday to come, so I left my gree tree after school, shouting to the wide open windows, "Mommy, I'm going for a walk." I strolled down to Rocco's Cafe on the beach and sat on a hard stone wall watching Guario and Angel dance their waiters' dance around the beautiful tourists. I watched as girls whispered their orders, making Angel lean closely over them, his ears touching their hibiscus red lips. Long smiles and fast winks went back and forth like a volleyball game. I didn't mind watching all this because I've never dared to dream of having Angel until the night of Rocco's big Christmas fiesta. Every year on Noche Buena, the night before Christmas, Rocco has a big fiesta on the patio of his restaurant, and everyone is invited, even the families of the waiters. Rocco cooks lechon asado over hot coals right on the beach, and they say it is the best tasting roast pig ever. The children get the first chunks of chicharrones, a crispy pork skin. It's the best Christmas present of all. The singing starts when the midnight stars are bright. Then the chairs are pushed back and the dancing goes on until Christmas Day comes, bright and cheery over the green hills. Since Pappy had taught me how to dance, I decided that this would be the best fiesta of all. I would finally stop sitting at the side and would dance for everyone to see. I would show Angel that I was not just Guario's little sister. I was Ana Rosa, who could dance and dream. Mommy said that she would stay at home. I have a whole pork leg to get ready and cook, but we all knew Poppy. As soon as that pork leg was finished, he would grab Mommy's arm and swing her down to Rocco's to dance a couple of merengues under the Christmas moon, provided that he had not drunk more than one bottle of rum and fallen asleep under the porch light instead. Angela was going, and she began preparing herself a whole week before. She even borrowed a page from my notebook to write down all the things she had to do just to get ready. Every day she checked off something else. My nails are done, my legs are shaved, my dress is hemmed, and on and on and on. I had never seen Angela so concerned about anything before, and I had began to wonder about her true plans, but not too much, because I was busy trying to get my own self into the best-looking me that there ever was. Angel just had to see me as more than Guario's little sister, and that was that. Finally, the day of the fiesta arrived. Mommy had made me a beautiful dress from two of Angela's old dresses. My dress had a long, dark green skirt, and when I twirled around, it flowed out like ripples in a river pool. The top was white and lacy like delicate spider webs in the branches of my gree-gree tree. Mommy curled my long brown hair into ringlets down my back. When I walked, they swung to and fro like a clock ticking off the minutes. I didn't have fancy dress shoes, only thick brown shoes I wore to school and church, or the rubber slippers I wore everywhere else. Mommy tried to stuff tissues into the toes of Angela's old dress-up shoes for me, but it didn't work. As soon as I took a step, the shoes were left behind on the floor. Finally, I decided I would wear my slippers, and when I would go to the party, I would just take them off and go barefoot. That's what the tourist girls do, I told Mommy. They never wear shoes at all. With a worried look on her face, Mommy asked Guario if that were true. He told me it was, and so she said okay. Guario whistled when he saw me and spun me around. "Carino, you will break my heart tonight," he said. Guario looked as if he would break a few hearts himself. He had on his black waiter's pants, but instead of the white t-shirt they usually wore, he had on a long-sleeved white shirt and a red tie. His thick, dark hair was brushed back, and he looked dashing and handsome. "All you need is a black mask, and I could call you Zorro," I joked. That was when Angela appeared. There were no words that night for how beautiful my sister looked. Angela's hair was piled on top of her head, with curls falling like slow honey down her shoulders. She had made her dress herself from a piece of precious cloth Mommy had brought out of an old suitcase, stashed away there for her eldest daughter since Angela's birth. The dress was a column of ivory laced with threads of gold, and when Angela walked, she shimmered like a Christmas angel on top of the tree in Rocco's Cafe. There were no flowing ripples in Angela's skirt. There was just Angela and her slim, perfect dress that I had never seen anyone so lovely. Even Guario was astonished when he took her hand. Papi kept wiping his eyes as if he were seeing a mirage. "You look just like your mommy when I first met her," he said. Mommy scoffed. "Ha! I was wearing my wash day clothes, Papi," she said. "And you look just like this to me," he replied. Mommy and Papi stood on the porch, their arms around each other. Roberto decided to wait and come later with them. So Guario escorted me and Angela to the party. We could see the colorful Christmas lights blinking on and off at Rocco's Cafe long before we arrived. The night air was warm and laced with scents of salt, flowers, and excitement. I saw Angel as soon as we walked in. My heart was tracking double time to the merengue beat, filtering through the conversation and laughter. "Oh my," I whispered to myself. Angel was wearing the exact same clothes as Guario, but on him the white shirt looked like angel wings, and his smile was pure heaven. Mommy was right after all. I kicked off my slippers under the edge of a huge tub of flowers and stood silently waiting for Angel to see me, to see my grown-up green mermaid dress, to lean his ear close to my curls so I could whisper, "Feliz Navidad." But Angel never once looked at me except to quickly smile and say, "Hola, little estrella." The same as always. The same as on Sundays when I was dressed in shorts and t-shirts with dirty knees and too long braids. Angel's dark eyes and his long black eyelashes rested themselves like butterflies on my sister, and that was it. They stayed there the rest of the night. Angel and Angela, two beautiful angels, had become one. I walked away in my bare feet, my green river dress trailing behind me, my curls swinging back and forth from a soul-sad rhythm. "Hey, Cinderella, do you want to dance?" Guario stood before me, his hand outstretched. "No," I shook my head, and my curls and everything that was in me said it too. "No, thanks." I walked around looking at all of the food spread out on a bright red tablecloths. A nice, smiling woman handed me a bowl of arroz con dulce, and I tried hard to smile back. I put the tip of my spoon into my mouth and tasted the sweet rice pudding. But even this treat stuck like cement on my mouth. Ugh, I saw the huge pig roasted on a spit next to the patio. The lights were so bright it could not see any stars. I walked over to the stone wall and sat down, swinging my bare legs. I watched Angel dancing with Angela under the Christmas lights. He was so tall and strong, and he held my sister close and whispered in her ear. I saw her look up at him with eyes that, as if they were mine, would be filled with moonlight and song. This was not like looking at books I couldn't touch. This was a whole lot worse. No books or words, no poems or stories. Nothing could ever make me feel like this. It was as if I swallowed a huge mouthful of seawater and couldn't breathe. "Oh God," I whispered. "I must have dreamed wrong if I feel like this." I was still sitting on the wall when Guario walked up next to me and handed me a glass of ice-cold Coke. Then he leaned his elbow against the wall. Together, we looked at the scene on the patio of Rocco's Cafe. "Everyone loves him. Don't feel bad," said Guario. "I don't," I replied, swallowing the ice-cold drink. I didn't feel like asking Guario how he knew. "Why do you sit here watching him if it hurts so much?" he whispered. I sat very still, feeling Guario's words touch me like cold rain. "How do you know it hurts?" I asked. Guario looked at me. "I don't need words to know everything." "Can anyone else tell?" I asked fearfully. "Angel can't," he said. "And that's what you really want to know, right?" I nodded. "So it hurts. And you were sitting here watching him anyway?" asked Guario. "Yes," I nodded. I can't help it." Guario shook his head and gave a little laugh. "That's what they all say. I thought you would explain it a bit better." I shrugged my shoulders, and the sleeves of my river dress slid down. I yanked them back up. "Haven't you ever been in love with anyone?" I asked. "No time for that," he answered quickly. His words slipped down my spine like ice. "Yes, you have." Guario didn't say anything. He just turned his head and he looked at the sea. "I don't need words to know everything either," I said softly, putting my hands on top of his. Guario and I stayed by the wall, me looking at Angel spreading his cheer over Rocco's Cafe, and Guario looking at the sea. Somewhere, I knew there was a girl that my big brother loved. And although he would never admit it, I knew that I was the reason he was not somewhere far away. Maybe Canada or Germany or Nueva New York, with his girl living his future. "Maybe you dreamed wrong too," I said at last. "Staying here with us, I mean." "Never," he answered and squeezed my hand. "I have you, remember?" And those were the words that put my broken heart in place, just for a moment. Just long enough for me to smile at my big brother. In his eyes, I saw the reflection of the Christmas lights, and I had to wonder, if not for the bright lights, would I see something else there? Something Guario wanted no one to see. It was I who suggested we go back to the party, but I couldn't sing or dance that evening, so I sat next to the tub of red flowers, and I waited patiently for Christmas Day to arrive over the green hills. Out the corner of my eye, I could see Angel and Angela. To stop thinking about them, and to keep my belly from hurting so much, I thought about my brother Guario instead, and his search for his future. What I didn't know that was my own future was galloping towards me like a riderless horse, and with it were a lot of questions that only I could answer.